I know I'm going out of order, but something happened last night, and I have to share this. I know I have my van build and everything else, but this is something I have to share because I've been around for a long time. I have never been as scared as I was last night, and I'm going to tell you what happened. I'm in Tarpon Springs, and I've been staying there for about almost a week. I've met many people in Tarpon Springs. They know me by name. I know them by name. I know restaurant owners, bar owners, shop owners. I've already got a gig to play music there. I've been playing on the street, just playing for tips. And so I really like the place. A lot of nice people. I've been parking in a parking lot, and it costs $5 a day. Met the owner of the parking lot the first night, and I asked, hey, can I stay here all night? And she said, no problem. You could sleep in your van. You could do whatever you want. I said, well, that sounds good. So I've been in this parking lot for almost an entire week. Last night, it was about 9:30, and I was pretty tired. So what I decided to do, lay down in my bed. I was listening to the band playing across the street at one of the bars, and I'm like, the guitar player is really good, and I'm just relaxed. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the biggest boom I've ever heard in my life, and it was sounded like it was right underneath my van. I didn't know what happened. All I know is my ears were ringing, and I was disoriented. I even saw a flash in the van. I don't know how I saw that. So, because all my windows and things were blocked off with my curtains and everything. Whatever, it was insane because I had no idea what was going on. So, I'm looking for my keys. I couldn't find my keys. Then I knew my phone was almost out of batteries, which never happens, but I was using it as a hotspot a lot yesterday. So here I am looking for my phone, looking for my keys, and I need my keys to unlock my doors to get out, because that's the way it works, unless you go out the front door. So I'm going nuts trying to get out of this van, and then I'm like, I need to bring stuff with me, because now there's smoke in the van. And I'm like, this thing's going to burn up. I don't know what happened. So now I'm like all disoriented. Finally, I go outside. I dial 911. All these people were standing there. I said, look, my phone's going to die. Will somebody please call 911 for me? Not a soul called 911. So I'm talking to the 911 operator, and she's like, this guy's a nut, because I didn't make any sense. She's asking me where I was. I'm like, I don't know. I'm in a parking lot. I know Yanni's restaurant is right down the road. There's another thing called the Aegean or Aegean restaurant across the street. I have no idea. So I'm talking to this, and she's saying, are you by the sponge factory or something? Here it is. I was right next to that place. I didn't know that was a name. She finally figured out where I was. She said, I'm going to send the fire department. Right about that time, an SUV drove through the parking lot and said, we saw everything that happened. There was a firework across the street on the top of the building that didn't go up. It went straight from the building right under your van and blew up. Now, I still don't know if that was a true statement or what. Now I'm thinking it's a firework that did it, and it had to be one of those big mortar shells because it was so loud. And I'll tell you what, my whole van rocked when it happened. I've been in a van for maybe a month and a half. I've never had this happen when I lived in a house, let alone live in a van. Finally, the firemen show up. By that time, there was no smoke coming out of my van. When it first happened, smoke was all inside the van. It was billowing out of my grill. It looked like my engine compartment blew up. There was so much smoke in the area, I couldn't believe it. So by the time the firemen got there, there was no smoke. Everything was calmed down. So they checked everything out. They looked in my engine compartment, looked underneath it and everything. And they said, there's nothing wrong with your van. And they said, we don't know what it was, but everything looks pretty much contained right now. And I said, well, look, my ears are ringing. They said, do you need to see anybody? He said, I don't know. I think I'm going to be okay. Now here it is the next day. My ears are still ringing from what happened. At this point, the firemen didn't even seem too helpful. Finally, I said to them, I think I need a police officer here. They said we could get him very quickly. We could just call him on our little radio and he'll be here in a minute. So I said, could you do that for me, please? No joke. Within a minute, they were there. And there were two. There was this SUV and then there was a cruiser that came. And all week I've been hearing about this one police officer that is tough on all the people, especially the people that live there. He writes them up for things that I never hear people getting written up for. And what they said, if you ever see him coming, he's a big, big guy and he's bald. You'll know it's him. Run. He'll do anything. Well, guess who the police officer was? That guy. He ended up being a nice guy. We talked. I told him what I was told, that they saw a firework from the other side of the street get launched and come down at my van. Now, the bad thing is there were about 50 people sitting on the street eating dinner, and they would have seen this firework. They would have heard it come and they would have seen it. None of them said that happened. Now, either they were covering, who knows, because I don't know for sure if it wasn't something from across a firework or not. The police officer said that this is the time of year that kids make these Greek bombs. And he said they're very powerful and very loud and they can do damage. He said this is the time of year they make them and they set them off. He thought that that's what it was, a Greek bomb. But we looked at the paper and everything that was all littered around under my vehicle and around my vehicle, and everything looked like a mortar. You know, one of those big mortar shells that get blasted and make really big fireworks. That's what it looked like. So we had no idea what it was. He thought it could be a mortar, it could be a Greek bomb that accidentally rolled under my van and shouldn't have rolled under there. All I can say was, it happened. And anybody that thinks that you won't be scared if you hear the biggest boom you've ever heard in your life, the biggest explosion, and you're not going to be scared or disoriented, you're fooling yourself. Unless you were in a war, you're fooling yourself, because I've been through a lot of scary things. I ski race, I ice climb, I rock climb. I've done a lot of scary things in my life. I was so disoriented and I was out of whack. I mean, I didn't know what to grab out of my van. I didn't know whether to run out of my van or stay in my van. I had no idea what to do. I was confused. Confused till almost when the cop left. Here's the worst thing. While all this was going on, I didn't even think to get my camera and to record and video the firemen, the police, all the people out there. I didn't think to video anything. But I was also told by the 911 operator not to go back in the van and get at least 100 feet away. And then when the firemen came and I was able to go closer, didn't even think to get the camera. That's how far out of it I was. I missed the golden opportunity, but I'm still going to tell you about it. I didn't want to take this out of the sequence and play this thing, but I think people need to hear about it, because this is the scariest I have ever been in my life. I hope it doesn't happen again. Oh, and the thing the cop said is, you know, you could sleep here. And he did ask me, he said, what were you doing parked in that parking lot? I said, well, I was getting ready. I was going to wait till the night ended a little bit, and then I was going to sleep in the parking lot. The cop said, you can sleep in there. There's no problem. He said, you could even sleep there tonight, because whoever did this is long gone. Well, guess what? I didn't trust anything. I didn't trust one thing. So I went to Planet Fitness down the road, and I know it was a 24-hour Planet Fitness, and I parked in that parking lot for the night. I don't know if I'm going to park in the parking lot again, because I'm afraid it's going to happen again. I have no idea, but it's very scary. And if somebody set a bomb, one of those Greek bombs, with all the people that were around, there were people in the parking lot, there were people everywhere, and nobody saw anything. That's the scariest thing, huh? Nobody saw anything. I'm sure I'll be okay. It's just going to take a little bit of time. My life in 75 square feet will continue. For now, bye.